Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. Brett and Randy here with you for your lunch hour, and we're glad that you've joined us out there, wherever it is that you're tuning us in here on this Tuesday afternoon. Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction, and Central Alabama Community College, our three corporate partners here on the Auburn Blitz, and we are proud to have all three of them bringing you this show every day, Monday through Friday. Man, we have got a ton to talk about. Randy, we're only a few weeks out. Big news as we come on the air, Jarquez Hunter back on the practice field this morning with the team, which is huge. Now, getting mixed reports, right out of the gate, they said he was there to only aid quarterbacks and basically to stretch and kind of to go through the motions there this morning. But now I'm seeing that maybe he is involved in some practice things now with the running back group. So it was originally reported no. Now maybe they've decided to go ahead and push him on in there. So regardless of what his degree of participation is today, it's good to see Jarquez Hunter back out there on the field with his teammates, and it's especially huge for us Auburn fans because he's a difference maker. And I heard Andy yesterday ask David, he said, do you think Jarquez Hunter not being on the team this year would wreck Auburn season? I don't think it would wreck Auburn season, but it would definitely impact it. He's an all-SEC running back, and he may be the first team all-SEC running back by the time this is all said and done. So, yeah, on a team that is in need of playmakers this year, he's a massive get.
Well, he's our best player. He's our best returning player. Many that watched him play with Tank, a lot of times you'd leave about halfway through those games and you'd go, I sure wish Jarquez would touch the football a little bit more because his explosiveness, ability to catch the football out of the backfield. I don't know if that was so much because you were handing the football to Tank and then trying to give Jarquez some opportunities out of the backfield. But nonetheless, I think all of the running backs that Auburn's going to throw out there have that ability. And when you look at the quarterback rotation potentially there at Auburn, it may be a little bit more of a pass-happy offense towards the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield. So he brings all of that to the table, Brett, and love to see him back. He's one of those players like a Ben Tate, like a Cameron Artis-Payne.
Yep.
I can keep going down the list of guys that maybe didn't get the carries the first couple of years that they were there, but then you look up and you go, my gosh, they're as good as what we just lost, and I feel that way about Jarquez. So happy to have him back.
Yeah, last year's Georgia game wasn't much to speak of, but he stood out in that game. He returned I think was it a punt or a kickoff back for a touchdown, and really just, he was like the guy you were looking at. If we had 10 more him, we could probably compete with Georgia. He stood out on our side, obviously, but I loved the way, even though we were down big in the second half, he continued to play hard, and he kind of stood out to me in that game. And, we're looking forward to having him on the field this year.
Well, you and I have called a lot of football games together, and over the years, there's certain players when they're on the field and when you put those pads on, they look fast amongst a bunch of fast people out there on the field. And Robbie Ashford looked like that last year. There were moments where I went, Brett, I think he's the best athlete on the field.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure that he's the best passer on the field at any point in time, but I thought he was an explosive athlete. And Jarquez has that. Reminds me of an old school 80s running back in Brent Fullwood to me.
Right.
That's probably my favorite running back of all time in Auburn because Bo Jackson was so easy to have that answer. And then another one of those guys that didn't play quite as much his first couple of years, had his role, Return kicks, did a lot of things, but Brent Fullwood in 86 when he comes out after the Heisman Trophy win for Bo Jackson in 85 and rushes for right around 1,500 yards and 125 yards in that
as good as anybody we ever
Iron
had.
Bowl game that we had when Lawyer Tillman ran the reverse for the touchdown. Fullwood was super, ends up getting drafted in the top 5 picks in the NFL draft by Green Bay in that 87 draft. So I hope the same here for Jarquez, and maybe it's behind. I know that there's people that have opinions on what went on and thoughts around that.
Maybe they've come to a solution on this thing.
Yes, because it felt like one of those Auburn basketball deals, Brett.
It did.
Where it could linger, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And still not sure where it is as far as being completed, but obviously Coach Freeze and the staff feel good enough and have been given the go-ahead to have him back with the team, which that's positive. I mean, that means that all signs look to him being with, the team ready to go the first week of the season. Also reminds me of a long string of running backs Auburn had that get better as the game progresses, get stronger as the team the defense gets tired. He seems to get better. He's strong. He breaks a lot of tackles. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. And Coach Montgomery and Coach Roberts met with the media. We've got quotes from them. We're going to talk about that. Also, just anything that we've heard from practice, we're going to throw out there to you. You can call us, 256-234-6221. Our good friend Wade Bennett with Radio Free Auburn will be with us halfway through the program today. We're glad to have Wickles Pickles back with us here on the Auburn Blitz, and Wade a part of that deal, and glad to have him back on as he gets Radio Free Auburn going, man. And he's got a good following down there, and Wade's just in tune with everything. So we'll talk to him a little bit later on in the program. But the book, yeah, go ahead.
Will you let me throw a disclaimer out there? As I look at that TV monitor, I want to apologize to all you Auburn fans. Brett and I had an AHSAA meeting with one of our corporate partners in Russell Dewitt this morning, and a great meeting, and we can't thank them enough for 10-plus years of being our corporate partner. So I was at home this morning. I just grabbed the first AHSAA polo that I could find, and the thing is straight crimson.
It is.
Brett looked across the table when I walked in.
I won't wear that one anymore because I wore it to work one day, a CAC, and somebody said, no, not somebody. All day I heard, man, you got that Alabama shirt on. I said, I'll never wear it again. I haven't worn it again. It does look good. It's a good-looking shirt, but I don't look good in that color. It kind of burns my skin a little bit. And as I talk over here, I got red and black on, so I look like Georgia. So I guess we're supporting our rivals here today on the Auburn Blitz. But, yeah, it was. In our corporate partners, we don't say enough about that, and I know as we get into football season, we get so much information that the hour goes by so fast, and by the time we take calls and go through comments, we don't have enough time. But we do talk about our corporate partners because they make this program possible. And Russell Dewitt Center, Randy, been with us 11 years now on the program and through the AHSAA, and glad to have them. What a great organization and what they do. And we talk about it all the time. It's kind of a catchphrase. They do beat the big box store. They've beaten them a bunch for me when I've gone in there to buy things. So if you're looking for building supplies, home decor, you're renovating your home or building a brand new home for all your materials and supplies, go check out Russell Dewitt Center. Got 9 locations. Got a really, really nice location now down in Auburn that's been there for a couple of years now. Luke says that you look great in that.
He would.
So, of course, we knew we'd get that. And John says, big flip, Peyton Woodyard from Georgia to UA. So talking about all these recruits, and I've got some of these that I want to talk about here a little bit later on in the show that could be up next for Auburn. I think DeAndre Carter's one to watch. Also, another big defensive tackle from IMG looks to be committing. It looks like Auburn's got a really good chance at that guy, and we'll talk more about that. But good to hear from our coordinators. This is really the first time with Coach Montgomery and Coach Roberts that we've been able to hear anything, and this was yesterday, so he opens up and says, Jarquez Hunter is expected to be back at practice any day now. Well, yeah, today. How about that? But he really was high on Jeremiah Cobb. And, Randy, you look at a couple of guys in this class, I think, that you'll say, man, they were impact guys right out of the gate. One's Keldrick Fault. We all know that we can expect some big things out of Keldrick Fault this year as a freshman, but another is Jeremiah Cobb. Jeremiah Cobb was highly touted. Georgia really, really wanted that guy. It looked like they were making a big push when things were tumultuous for Auburn and coaching and all that. It looked like we possibly would lose him. He stayed true to Auburn, stayed committed to Auburn. I think he's going to make a difference.
Well, Cadillac held on,
Right.
and let's don't think that anyone else probably around that facility is the reason. And Jeremiah Cobb bought in early to what Cadillac was preaching, and he taking over the coaching reins and doing what he did to close out the season probably didn't hurt that relationship,
Right.
Brett, because he did such a tremendous job for Auburn in closing out last season. But Jeremiah Cobb reminds me a lot of Jarquez Hunter. He's explosive. He's got great separation speed. He's very dynamic with the football in open space, playing for a program over there at Montgomery Catholic that's really an odd dynamic going on at Montgomery Catholic. There's probably not a program in the state of Alabama outside of Fife that dominates their opposition during the regular season more than Montgomery Catholic.
Right.
They get in the playoffs.
They can't finish.
And they just can't quite get over the hump. And so, man, hopefully they do if you're a Catholic fan over there in Montgomery. But great get. Hopefully he has a great season.
Yeah, this is what Coach Montgomery said about him. He said, I think we have a talented running back room. He said each one of them are bringing different things to the table. He said, but when you look at Jeremiah, he said, he had a couple of really good runs today. You see it. He talked about that burst you just said, Randy. He said he has a big burst. He plays with speed. He has good vision. The biggest thing for him as a freshman is he wasn't here in the spring, so he's trying to figure out the process, and how fast he can do that will determine how fast he plays.
Such a weird thing for those that grew up in our generation. Wasn't here in the spring, You and I, we weren't there in the spring.
No.
Most any player that we had committed during that stretch. Now, these coaching staffs, if you don't show up after you sign and once your football season's over, it's kind of frowned on. And you understand why, because you're not in the weight room. You're not quite doing the things that some others are.
You're behind.
Just a different day and age, Brett.
It is. John, by the way, said that there's room on the Crimson side for you.
I will not take that.
Okay.
I'm going to stay with, but I will wear this polo. I'm not like Brett. I can put crimson on.
Hey, that
not
polo's
burn through.
available for anybody for a good home if you want it. So, up against the break, stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Let's get serious. Let's get Arctic Air serious. You want your car and truck to live longer, don't you? Well, it's about maintenance. Same thing with Arctic Air. You see the number at the bottom of the screen? Call them right now. Let me tell you something. You want to be comfortable? We all want to be comfortable.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cab, discounted up to $11,250 off. Chevy Equinox with 0 down as low as $329 per month. Chevy Malibu 0 down as low as $369 per month.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith and Opelika on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left in today's show. Make sure you get your calls in, and we will go to the phone line to start our segment here with James. James, what's up, man?
Hey there, Brett. How you doing, man? You and Randy?
We're doing great, James. How are you, buddy?
Fine. I'll just politely tell you that I've had some health issues, but I've kicked them in the crotch and walked on down the road. I'm ready for football season.
Well, we're ready. We're glad to hear from you. It's been a while, James, and
it's been about 6 months.
It has.
I feel very badly about that, but you know, it was kind of beyond my ranking serial number. So anyway, I did it like I did it. I'm back here. I understand. I asked the guy back here in the back. He said Randy was doing okay, and it's all wearing. I can see. Y'all dress up real good. I'm telling you.
Every once in a while we do.
Right. How's your sidekick? Is he doing okay?
Yeah, everybody's doing good, and you know, again, we're glad to hear from you more than anything.
Well, thank you. You'll be hearing from me. I'm like I said, I'm happy to do it. I think we're gonna have a pretty decent football team. One thing I have done is be able to read, and that's is and am is two different things. But I think our chances of having a good chance of having a decent team is good, and I am going to be proud of them. So we'll just leave it at that.
James, I think you're right, and we're going to talk more about some of these recruits Auburn's in on. Again, several more will be making commitments here in the next few weeks, and Auburn's got a good shot at several of them. We appreciate your call, James. Good to hear from you,
okay, I'll be calling, and Randy, good to talk with you too, buddy.
Good to hear from you, James. Andy's doing well. There's a piece of news there. Andy's really doing good, so he'd love to hear from you tomorrow, James.
Okay, good enough.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, James. Yeah, we'd love to hear from all of our
hey, we've had some health issues over the last year, and James, glad to have him back, and Andy Graham is as good as he's ever been, and nobody is as thankful as I am to have him up here prepared, presenting a good product to you out there.
Absolutely.
And everyone I saw while Andy was kind of down was when's Andy going to get back?
Right.
I like you and Brett, but I sure do love Andy. Will you get Andy back?
It's good to have him back.
I'm
There's
going to
no
get him
doubt.
back.
No doubt about it. Well, let's look at some of these recruits, and we're going to talk about what Coach Roberts and Coach Montgomery said about some more guys on the team. But up next, looks like August the 12th, which is just around the corner. TJ Lindsey, big defensive lineman at IMG Academy, will be making a pledge. Looks like it may be between Auburn and Texas A&M. He's got Alabama listed, got Texas listed also. So, again, it's just another big four-star defensive tackle that, Auburn's gotten their fair share of defensive linemen in the past. We've struggled the last few years on the offensive side of the ball, but defensive linemen, Auburn's gotten some really good ones, and they've done well, and they've moved on to play in NFL. TJ Lindsey, Randy, a big 6'3", 6'4", 24/7's got him listed about 290 pounds. The other post I saw has him listed. The other roster has him about 275. So give or take 10, 15, 20 pounds. It's a big boy.
Big guy, and IMG gets them prepared. They're in a program where they're really working them. And, look, I throw darts at IMG from time to time because I'm a public school, high school guy that really loves and sees the growth of kids and communities. But IMG, if you've got an opportunity to go over there and get your kids worked, you can't deny it, Brett. They do a great job of preparation. But one thing that I was going to ask you, when you look down that list of potentials that he has to go to, and you see Auburn and Texas A&M, the one thing that tells me, I know Texas A&M's throwing the dollars out there and they're playing the NIL game as hard as anyone. When it comes down to us two, makes me feel like under Hugh Freeze, and I know with Bruce Pearl and the pitches he's made to so many over the years to get some funding in there, it makes me feel like we're playing that game maybe better than we were.
The skinny on the street was that Auburn had the money. They just weren't doing the NIL right. They weren't organized. And we talked about that, several times on this show about the ones that are prepared and the most organized with their plan are going to be the most successful.
It's a business.
It is. Auburn apparently now has their NIL straight. And I believe Luke even said it on his podcast with Jimmy Stein on Locked On Bama. He said, Auburn has their NIL in line now. They're doing what they need to do with it, and it's starting to show the dividends. They're starting to reap what they sow. And, again, TJ Lindsey on August 12th plans to commit to either Alabama, Texas, Auburn, Texas A&M, or Miami. That's the five there. Going back to some other superlatives, Coach Roberts high on Justin Rogers and Jason Jones. He said, look, obviously they're both really good players, and you're going to need that in this conference. That's what it is. It's a big man's conference, especially up front. Talking about TJ Lindsey. This is another one we're talking about. The O-line, D-line, those guys up front kind of set the tempo for the ball game. They're doing it to control they're going to control it for you. Skill guys can make big plays. He said, but dadgummit, sound like little Bobby Bowden there. He said, you got to win the game up front. And everybody that follows football knows the games are won in the trenches. If you can't control the line of scrimmage, you're not going to win very many football games.
We have good friends that work in the recruiting outlets and work with high school kids, and I've probably heard this more from those type of guys over the last 5 to 7 years than I had in the previous years. And it was this: when I'm on the sideline, on Alabama and Georgia's sideline, those guys look different. How many times have you heard them say that?
Right.
I walk around on the sideline, they just look different. They're bigger, they're stronger. It's not that Auburn's got small guys.
No.
They just don't have the guys where you go, my Lord, how big can these human beings possibly be? And so I totally agree right there. You've got to go out and get the Bows and the Joes if you're going to compete with those two, that two-headed monster, and I think that we're well on our way.
Dad, if you got Auburn up at 15 in recruiting right now, by some recruiting services, you pick up a TJ Lindsey. Randy, that's another addition. Got 15 commitments in this class. He'd be 16. You get DeAndre Carter, the big offensive lineman from California. That's another high four-star guy. Now you're knocking on the top 10 with 17 commitments with a chance to add 5 or 6 more.
Would be an amazing start to a tenure there for Hugh Freeze.
Lord mercy. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz coming up right after this.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your boat or vehicle to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your vehicle the right way. Located at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328 for Superior Automotive and Boat Detailing.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through the program. Again, get your calls in, 256-234-6221. Randy, looking at this this depth chart right now, if Auburn were to play today, this is what the depth chart looks like. If Jarquez Hunter were cleared, which it looks like he's going to be, Auburn would have 4 guys on offense, 4. That played last year on offense. Let that sink in. It's a totally different team. Right now they got Shane Hooks at the X and Jair Shorter at the Z starting with Javaris Johnson starting at the H position. So only one guy there. Got Camden Brown and Coy Moore backing up and also Caleb Burton, who is a newcomer from Ohio State that really is getting a ton of praise right now on the offensive side of the ball. I think we're going to see a lot of him. But then you look at the offensive line. You got Dylan Wade at left tackle. You got Gunnar Britton at right tackle, and Avery Jones at center. Those three guys are brand new in the transfer portal.
All with a lot of snaps, though.
A lot of veteran experience.
No, not SEC game experience, but they have taken plenty of college snaps, and that's important.
And Jeremiah Wright and Tate Johnson right now would be your guards. Tate Johnson basically is brand new because he got hurt at the beginning of the year. And then Jeremiah Wright, who has been a true platoon player, back and forth from defense to offense, back to defense, now back to the offensive side. But what we have gotten, and I'll lead into what Coach Montgomery said about the offensive line, is we got depth now. We got some depth with experience. It's not a bunch of freshmen out there. Although Connor Liu is backing up Avery Jones right now, he's probably one of the best freshman offensive linemen we've recruited in a while. It'll be interesting to see. You pick up Jaden Muskrat in the transfer portal, and then you've got Cam Stutz and Langlo Gardner returners back in there on the second team, along with Xavion Miller, which is also a transfer. So you got, you got a lot of new faces up there. On the offensive side of the football, if you look at the tight end right now, it would be Fairweather, Rivaldo Fairweather from Florida International. That guy looks the part, man. He looks like a beast. Now, again, we'll see when he gets out on the field.
Well, I heard Andy mention that he thinks he may make the biggest splash of some of the newcomers that we have in, and that would be great. But we've got, 2 or 3 tight ends that are serviceable behind him. Luke Dill being one that's a captain on the team, a spokesperson for the team, and pretty much all the video work that I've seen so far. And these guys have played a lot of football and been in a lot of snaps as well. So I like where we are at the tight end position.
You look over here, and Coach Montgomery said, talking about the offensive line, he said, yeah, they've come a long way. He said they still are. He said we still have some new faces up there, guys that are working in, but playing offensive line is all about gelling as a unit. We have some great battles that are going on in front right now. He said, and guys are feeling that pressure of, hey, if I have to be on top of my game each and every day, that's what you want. You want somebody pushing you. So it's making everybody better. He said, but for us to do that and what we want to do offensively, those 5 guys have to lead the way, and they've got to find the 5 quicker than normal so they can go ahead and start trying to establish that chemistry up front.
Well, I know you'll talk about the quarterback position, but it kind of revolves around the same conversation you just had on the offensive line. I mean, if you've got other options, and I think Auburn's got 3 good options. Now, Robbie Ashford may be third on that list. If Garner's throwing the football as well as I hear he is.
Right.
And we already know that Peyton Thorne has played so many snaps and has so many passing yards with touchdowns leading into the season. Now, does that transition into great play in the SEC for Michigan State? We hope. But nonetheless, if any of those 3, if you told me any of those 3 took the majority of the snaps for Auburn this year, I'd first say Peyton Thorne's going to take the most. But if you asked me about the other 2, I don't know. I'd be 50-50 on both, which means that you've got 3 that you hope the ceiling's high enough that you can win football games.
I think, I said that on Gary Harris's show Friday. I said I think Auburn's got 3 viable options. I don't think we're running 3 guys out there going, well, we're going to take the lesser of the evils.
Which is what we did last year.
That's right. We've got 3 guys, I think, that are going to be developed or better developed and are competing and pushing each other, which will in turn, whoever wins the job, be a really good player for us on the field. Again, Peyton Thorne's numbers, they don't lie. And again, it was in the Big Ten, but Big Ten's probably the next best conference in the country outside the SEC. And then you look at Holden Geriner. He just has not. We hadn't seen enough of him in real time action to know what he can do. He was a 4-star kid coming out of high school, so he's not chopped liver. And of course, Robbie Ashford deserves a tip of the hat for persevering through what he went through last year, playing injured most of the time, and really giving us our only option at quarterback. Let's just be honest about it. So, we want the best quarterback on the field. I think everybody does. I think the coaching staff is going to put that together, and they're going to look at this, but they're going to whittle this thing down after the first 5 practices. You know, Coach Freeze said it. He said, we're going to go through the first 5 or so. He said, we're going to try to get this thing down to the top 2 and then move from there. Some comments coming in. David said, you know, he said this yesterday, but we continue to get commits at the level we have so far. Then at around 20 to 21, we should be firmly in the top 10, maybe knocking on the top 5. I think here's the thing, Randy, when you look at the rest of the guys Auburn's in on, they're all 4- and 5-star guys. So when you get those guys, your ranking's going to improve. And Auburn right now, from an average star rankings in the top 5, you know, with Georgia and Alabama and Texas and I believe, I can't remember, maybe Miami's up there with them. But that's who Auburn's with right now.
That's our competition. You know, when you and I are growing up in the 80s as 80s kids and everyone out there, we know Georgia and Alabama is our main competition. That's not going to change. Now, has it gotten away from us? Yes. But I know I sound like a broken record, but this is a program that we did that sticks out in my mind probably more than any, and it's one of those Gus Malzahn recruiting classes. We finished 10th. Alabama and Georgia finished 1 and 2. You and I looked at top 300 players. You remember this? Top 300 players by ESPN. Auburn got 10 that day. Alabama got 24, and I think Georgia got 23. So I looked across at you and I said, we finished 10th, man. It's a good recruiting class. But they got 2.5 times as many as we did, great quality players that may turn into NFL-type players. Doesn't mean you can't.
It's hard to compete.
And, man, it's very hard to compete. So we've got
that level.
We've got to – and we want to compete at that level.
That's where we want to be.
And I think that we can, and I think Hugh Freeze is well on his way.
No doubt about it. Up against the break, stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz coming up right after this.
"76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community."
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Coastal Construction Design is the area's storm specialist experts and offers free roof inspections absolutely free to assess your needs. Their roofing experts get your home or commercial needs handled from start to finish. They have worked with all major insurance sources for decades, and they are permitted and approved for Lake Martin. Coastal Construction Design also handles exterior restoration, including siding and gutters. They are also a GAF certified contractor. Visit coastalconstruction.pro or call 251-215-3429. Coastal Construction Design. All things roofing from start to end.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bugs Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bugs Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bugs Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bugsisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left in today's show. We're going to go to the phone lines. Welcome in our good friend Wade Bennett with Radio Free Auburn. And Wade wanted to bring you on because you're going to be back with us here during football season pretty frequently, at least once a week, maybe more. And good to have you back on. And, hey, also glad to have Wickles Pickles back on with us, too.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I'm back, baby, and it feels great to be back on the Auburn Blitz. Wickles Pickles back with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And, you know, those you can check them out at WicklesPickles.com. Those Saturday sandwiches, the Thanksgiving dinner, their secret 90-year-old recipe used to be reserved for family and friends, but they're lucky enough to get a jar. But since 1998, you can find them in the stores. You can find them online. So we're excited to have Wickles back, and I can't wait to get back up to another game in the state playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. I mean, we get so excited about football season, and then we blink, and then it's championship time. But, Wade, while we got you here on this segment, you know, a lot to discuss. And the first thing I wanted to dive into with you, and we'll get your take on Auburn because there's a lot to talk about, but this realignment college football, it's like over the weekend college football just went ahead and got drunk, and everybody just decided to move and go wherever they wanted to go. And it kind of left four teams out there hanging out in the dust for the Pac-12, and it now looks like the ACC's in talks with Oregon State and Stanford. So that would only leave Cal and Washington State out there left. So this thing's crazy.
Well, it's a circus right now, and for old school fans like us, and guys, I hate to tell you, we're from the old school now. You know it, I know it. It's unrecognizable, and are we going to recognize college football in the next 10 years? And I really mean that. I mean, I look at it like this, and just going back, I was thinking about it this morning. Just go back to 1892 in the very first Auburn-Georgia game for a point of reference. From there until we expanded in the SEC 100 years in 1992, the game changed, but it changed slowly. Right, you know, and a lot of it was just little subtle changes like better equipment, better player safety. There were conferences, there were teams and conferences like Georgia Tech, Sewanee, Tulane that left the SEC, but it happened over time. Since then, in 1992, practically for the last 30 years, it is accelerating now daily. The change in college football. What's it going to look like accelerated in the next 5 years?
I'm scared to know. Again, did you hear Eli Drinkwitz this past week with Missouri?
Very well said, by the way.
I think he was spot on. And, you know, everything gets washed out. And I know, you know, football carries the baton. And it's like he said, football's going to be okay no matter what happens. But it's the midweek Michigan State, Oregon volleyball game where these girls got to travel across country and, you know, it really makes no sense. And what's going to end up happening is college football is going to separate itself from all the rest, and then everything else is going to have to fall back in line because this travel for baseball, softball, and these other sports, they might as well just not even be in school. I mean, that's where they are now.
Well, that's not a sustainable model. I mean, it's called the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, but yet they're going to have members from the Pacific Coast. And they're going to send the volleyball team out to Stanford and then to Cal and then back across the country to Boston College and then back home. We all know that's not going to work. I mean, that's just common sense here. And I hate to use the word hypocrisy, but I see so much in it. When they're, let's go back to 2013 when Gus Malzahn got hot. Certain coaches around the league got upset about the style of the play. All of a sudden, there were player safety issues, and we need to talk about the players, and there's too many plays, and this is dangerous. You know what? This is dangerous. This is a dangerous – what about player safety now, off the field and on the field? And no one's talking about it. I was good to see Coach Drinkwitz. I watched it last night on the SEC Network and his comments, and they were spot on. It's absolutely out of control now with this much travel that's proposed.
Well, I want to add one more thing, and I know we're coming up on our break. It goes by fast, Wade, and again, glad to have you back. But when you look at it this past weekend, it's a grab fest now of teams that are in these conferences. I mean, the Big 12 grabbed four Pac-12 teams. The SEC, it's rumored they're going to get Florida State and Clemson. So the Big Ten's like, who else are we going to grab? So let's grab Oregon and Washington to try to – it's really the Big Ten and SEC is just trying to answer each punch that they're having. The Big 12s look like they're going to survive because they got ahead of it. The Pac-12's gone. It's dissolved. But the ACC may be in trouble if Florida State and Clemson leave. It doesn't matter if they get Stanford and whoever else. They're going to be a weakened conference. I think North Carolina will go to the Big Ten. It'll be crazy to kind of see how it all plays out.
Hey, right before our eyes, we saw the Pac-12 dissolve faster than Lehman Brothers in the 2008 subprime mortgage meltdown, guys.
They were there one weekend and gone the next.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm with you. The ACC is in trouble. That's why Florida State's barking so much to get out. But I got news for everybody. They're trapped. What they've signed, a $120 million buyout, a grant of rights between all teams, should have taken that bid to be in the SEC in 1991, Knowles fan.
No doubt, Wade. Hey, Wade, before we let you go, your take right now on Auburn, Hugh Freeze is kicking rear end, and it was good news to have Jarquez Hunter back at practice today.
Well, it sure is. And let me tell you something. Auburn's hotter than a $2 pistol right now. In Hugh, we trust is our mantra at RadioFreeAuburn.com. If he'll give me permission, I'll start selling T-shirts. I'm not saying they're back. I'm looking at a 7-5. But what it's night and speaking of night and day, where were we 18 months ago, and how far were we behind the proverbial rock and a hard place being Auburn, being Alabama and Georgia?
Well, I'm going to tell you, we've gone from a total clown show to back to some sense of relevancy in a few months, and it's because he's landed on his feet and hit the ground running. We're out of time, Wade, but glad to have you back. Looking forward to a great football season. Everybody check him out at RadioFreeAuburn.com. Wade, and glad to have Wickles back. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
Sounds good. We'll be back next week.
See you, Wade.
Nice day.
Sounds good, buddy. Have a good one. It's Wade Bennett, and glad to have him back. We're going to take a break. Stay tuned. One final segment left on today's show.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Let's go to the phone lines. Welcoming our good friend Luke. Luke, you do realize this is an Auburn show, right?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. Hey, between you and John Dent, hey, we love our Bammers that watch and listen to our show every day.
Well, I would have called earlier, but I was busy parking my boat at the Montgomery River Walk, so I couldn't get my call in.
Hey, did you fall in the water, or did somebody jump out of the water on you?
Somebody had to jump in the water and save me, yeah. But, you know, what I was thinking about with all this, I mean, I've been driving a lot, so I've had a lot of time to listen to different sports shows. With all the Pac-12 movement, first of all, I don't think that Stanford and Cal will be moving to the ACC. That just doesn't make any sense at all. But, you know, you think about how this does have a bit of an Auburn tie-in because Auburn thought that they were signing a couple of Pac-12 home-and-home games with Cal and UCLA. Now one of them, at least next year, probably won't be in a conference, and then the other one will be in the Big Ten. I mean, things are changing so quickly. I think Wade said it best, that it's changing so fast it's very difficult to keep up with. And the thing I hate about that more than anything is college football, probably more so than any other sport, you know, maybe with the exception of the Masters or something like that, is dependent upon tradition to feed its passion. And next year, we're going to have all this movement. We're going to have a 12-team playoff. And yeah, that's going to be fun. I mean, I've never said the 12-team playoff won't be fun. I've always said what it does is get us further away from what we've known college football to be, and it'll lead to more change, which, all the Oregon State, Washington State, all those teams, Cal and Stanford, were probably all very pro, hey, let's expand the playoffs, because they just figured everything else would remain status quo. But everything else changed because your Alabamas and Ohio States and LSU's and Georgia's aren't going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, you know what, let's just let Cal and Stanford have an equal opportunity playing a much easier schedule to get into the playoffs as we do. And so what you've done is you've able to shrink these conferences so that you're not going to have as many auto qualifiers, and then you're going to have more at-large bids, and therefore the little guy that everybody was so worried about is going to be shut out again, because who do you think is going to get those at-large bids? The big teams that play big schedules. That's who's going to get it, and that's who should get it.
Well, here's the deal. College football in the last 3 years has changed more than it did in the previous 75 combined. And I think that's a fair assessment, because if you look, Wade just said it. I think he said it best. We went almost 90 to 100 years, and things changed in college football, but they changed very slowly, and things kind of evolved. In the last 3 years, when you add the transfer portal and you add NIL and you add all these realignments, this thing, if you were in a coma in pre-2020 and you woke up somehow in late 23 or early 2024 and you say, well, how's the Pac-12? It could have changed 10 times between now and then.
Yeah, and that 2020 is a good year to study too, because think about how much 2020 has changed everything.
It has.
Think about how much we handled COVID has changed everything, because what it did was allow us to see, hey, you don't have to schedule teams 12 years in advance like we've always been told. BYU and Coastal Carolina scheduled a game in 4 days. Alabama played 11 SEC games in 2020. So, I mean, we've always heard, hey, you can't do that. That's crazy. You can do it, and they did it. And so it's just, 2020's changed just about everything. But, yeah, it's been naive for everybody to think that we're just going to expand the playoffs and nothing's going to change, because I think the playoff expansion is kind of what's triggered everything.
No doubt about it, Luke. We got about 3 minutes left on the program, so we're gonna let you ride. No pun intended. We know you're riding all over the country, but we'll get back with you soon. Be safe on the road, and we'll catch up with you later.
All right, guys.
Thanks so much. And this is going to be the topic. How overshadowed now is Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC? Since that announcement last year at Media Days, we've just been a year now, 1 calendar year. Look at what's happened.
I think everybody knew that then, though.
They did.
You remember
they were waiting for that trigger.
The storyline following that, the entire next week, was exactly what's happened over the next 12 months.
How could the Pac-12 sit back? Now, the Big 12 losing Texas, Oklahoma, they could have said, all right, we're just going to wither away. No, they went out. Although it was Cincinnati and Central Florida, they did go get. Now they've got some more from the Pac-12. They got Colorado back. But the Pac-12 literally stood on the sideline and watched all this going on, going, is this really happening? Is this going on? And then they looked around. Now they ain't got any teams left.
Leadership. Look at professional sports organizations. Some have tremendous leadership. Others have terrible leadership.
Right.
And it all sways one way or another. You look at the Braves. The Braves don't have the highest payroll, but they're in it every year. Then you look at the Washington Redskins, now the Commanders, now whatever they want to call them. Poor leadership for so many years, and you've gotten – well, I think the Pac-12 is proof positive that if you allow your top guy to not be very good, have some foresight into the future to see what's coming and not do something quickly about it when you read it, you're in trouble. Look at NIL, Brett. I told you that with NIL 2 years ago. I said, you're about to watch the ones that are very well organized and have a good business sense, because they're about to whoop everybody. And unfortunately, Auburn was we were close. We just had
a bad leader.
We weren't very well organized, and now
we couldn't have had a worse coach in place when NIL hit. Thank gosh that he's gone. I'm just telling you. because one more year, him, man, it could have set Auburn back. I mean, it set Auburn back as is. I mean, we're still.
Well, I don't think we could have been any more depleted.
We had anybody left.
Well, we didn't have much left.
Well, I mean,
you just mentioned.
Right.
How many four offensive players that saw snaps?
He's got two guys. There are two players left on Auburn's roster from his recruiting class. I want you to let that sink in. Two.
That's it.
Two players. You know, but he posted yesterday on Instagram, by the way, I just got to get this shot in as we're leaving, a picture of his coffee maker making a loud noise at whatever condo he was at whatever lake he was staying at. That's where he needs to be. Not in football, especially not in the SEC. So, anyway, that's going to wrap it up. We've enjoyed it. We'll hope you have. See you next time.